Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben. Happy Monday everybody. We are back here for another podcast. It's been a while. I do really need to get back on track with these. I'm so sorry for those that are avid listeners and I've not been posting regularly. Hopefully things will change and we'll start getting these posted out regularly. But I'm just in the process of making a monthly magazine to start being able to sell to download. So hopefully that will be in the pipeline within the next few days. So if you're interested, let me know and I will make sure that I send you the link when it's available to download and purchase. It'll only be a couple of pounds and obviously everything will go towards my upkeep of my allotment and buying plants to keep everybody entertained and producing content for you. So yes, thank you for those that do support me and would like to support me. So that's a cheaper way to support me, by purchasing the magazine. For those that can't obviously afford a hoodie or a t-shirt, you can support me in other ways. So yeah, what have I been up to recently? Well, I've been so busy with planting. My last episode what I uploaded, I was talking about planting all my squashes, my courgettes and my pumpkins. They're all in the ground now. We've still got a few more left to pop in, but I was just waiting to see what the weather's like, because I planted some the other day and I went to the allotment today and the slugs are out in force. They're out eating all the pumpkins and squashes, and they always eat it where the stalk is and chop all the top off, don't they? They're absolutely horrendous. I really do hate them. So we may have to start some more off quickly and see if we can get some more growing, but we have got plenty of plants in, so fingers crossed they are safe, but we'll see how they get on for the time being. So yeah, we've been busy planting more things today. Today I've been planting some asparagus, which I grew from seed. Never grown asparagus from a crown, let alone from seed, so it's quite new to me. But the plants did look really healthy and look really well. So I thought I'm going to get them in the ground while the ground's damp and wet, because it absolutely chucked it down last night, so they won't dry out pretty much yet, and it's going to be a hot day tomorrow, so I didn't really want a dry day for planting them out. So we've planted them today, they're in the ground. Hopefully they'll get firm in and take root and start growing. Obviously I won't be picking asparagus from them this year, but maybe in a couple of years time I'll be picking some asparagus crowns. I don't know how long it takes for asparagus to get going and get growing, but we'll see about that. And then we've been planting some broccoli as well. I'm into a bit of my fitness at the moment, so one of the meals is obviously having lots of broccoli, because broccoli is one of the best things that you can eat and broccoli is expensive to buy. So I'm going to try growing my own broccoli this year. I've never really concentrated on growing broccoli before, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to really look into it and really get it growing and hopefully get some fantastic florets from it to be eaten. We've also been having a look at trying a little experiment. I got a lot of lettuce plants left over. Anyone like me, they'll end up sowing too many seeds and not enough space to plant them all. Obviously I don't want an allotment beds full of lettuce, and obviously I've got my nice big large polytunnel. So what I thought is, rather than waste plants, I've individually potted them up into quite large pots and planted them in the polytunnel. Obviously I could have planted them in the ground in the polytunnel, but I don't want to take the black membrane up, what keeps it as a weed suppressant. I want to keep that down, so I've planted them in plant pots and I've just used normal soil, as I didn't want to spend any money on compost just in case it doesn't work. And we'll see how it gets on. Fingers crossed they do grow. Obviously they'll grow a lot faster being in the polytunnel than they will outside, and they're not open to the elements of being eaten by pigeons, and the slugs won't get them as much as they would do outside. So we may have some good success with them. Obviously we'll have to keep them watered more often, because obviously they'll dry out really fast in the polytunnel with it being red hot. But we're going to give it a go. We've planted about 30 plants, so whether they all grow or whether none grow, we'll see how we get on. Hopefully we'll get one at least from the plants. But we'll see. I'll keep everybody posted on that. So I've shared a photo of it on my Instagram and Facebook today, so you'll be able to see how well they get on and they progress. Hopefully they'll grow pretty fast being in the heat and the warmth, so fingers crossed we may be picking them sooner than we think. But they are iceberg lettuces, so we'll see if they do well and how well they get on. And if they grow well, I'll definitely be starting some more off and growing them that way in future, because then it saves taking up an extra bed outside when I can grow them indoors in the polytunnel on a faster scale. So we've been doing that. We've also been looking at all my melons. I've got absolutely hundreds of melons growing, and I mean hundreds. I'm one of these that sow all the seeds, and if they all germinate, I'll sow them, I'll pot them all up and grow them all, because I hate seeing plants wasted. I'm sure there's quite a few of you out there, hands up, admit it, let me know who does the same. You end up potting them all up and you end up planting them all as well, and then you've got too many plants. But yeah, we've got absolutely loads of melons growing, and I've got lots of varieties of watermelons to try this year. So we're going to see how well they get on and see if we have some good success with them, and see if we can get some fantastic produce from them. I did share a picture of how well they're looking at the moment. They're not ready for the final pots yet, they're still quite small, so we won't be planting them out into the big pots yet. Once we get them all planted out in the big pots, hopefully they'll grow pretty fast in the polytunnel again. My polytunnel is going to be transformed into a melon growing area this year. I'm going to grow all my tomatoes inside my greenhouse cum shed, because tomatoes need heat, but not as hot as what the melons do, so they should grow okay in the shed. So we've got lots to be getting on with everything really, and I've still got about 8 days off left, so we need to get as much done as possible on the allotment and get as much stuff carried on planting. We've not got an awful lot left to plant out now. We are getting filled up on my allotment, and the beds are starting to fill up and look full, so hopefully come the 8 days everything will be finished, all the beds will be planted, all the paths will be tidy, all the flowers will be out, so hopefully we are on track. That's the reason why I booked all this time off, because it's a busy time getting everything planted and getting everything out. So I thought I'd clear my schedule and get it all sorted the best I can do. So we should be back down at the allotment tomorrow. Like I said, it's going to be a scorching hot day tomorrow. They're predicting 22 to 24 degrees here in Sheffield. So my first off job will be to make sure everything's watered. Obviously the ground is wet today, as like I said, it has been raining earlier on in the night, and it's pretty wet outside, but we'll need to make sure everything's well watered, because while they're still young plants, they'll still need the water to get them rooted and get them growing and get established really. So we don't want to be losing any plants whatsoever that we put out, so we've got to keep our eyes on them. And then we have to go on a slug hunt. We have to go around checking all the slugs, making sure there's no slugs hiding around, and making sure there's no snails coming around. I hope soon my tadpoles start turning into frogs, because we need the frogs out. We need them to start eating the slugs up. That is the reason why I've got my pond. That is the reason why I've got all my tadpoles, so that the frogs eat all the slugs for me and keep that slug population down. So hopefully we will have our army of frogs out on the prowl soon. So tomorrow, hopefully, I need to pot up the rest of my melons. I've still got a seed tray left of melons to pot up. Hopefully we can get that done tomorrow. We'll have to see. That's definitely on my list. And then I need to plant out my cabbage and my cauliflowers, I think, tomorrow. I think we've still got them left to do. We haven't got much else left to be getting out now. Everything's pretty good. Oh, we've got some kale as well. I've got some kale to put out, so we'll see if we can squeeze that in somewhere. And we've got leeks as well to get in, so we've got plenty to keep us going for the time being. So hopefully we'll get all his beds filled, and hopefully we'll get a lot done tomorrow. And I'll talk about how to plant up leeks in another podcast, so make sure you listen out for that one, because planting leeks isn't as straightforward as you think. You need to do a few little extra things when planting leeks, so make sure you stay tuned for that episode. So if you've not subscribed to this podcast, do click the follow button, do click the subscribe button, and you'll get notified when new podcasts come up, and hopefully they'll come up pretty regular. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcast. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to, and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.